Welcome to 3Bs on a Mission, where the lesson repeats until you get it. And we're here to make sure that you do.
Thank God.
How you ladies doing?
Fair to Midland.
Oh.
Is that a thing?
I don't
That's
know.
an old ass saying. Something like our
my God,
grandparents
old
would have
girl.
said.
Pocketbook.
Yeah.
Go grab my
Pocketbook in the
pocketbook
ice
real quick.
box.
And go sit on the Davenport.
Yes.
The Davenport and the ice
Sure
box.
thing.
We started. We ain't old like that.
No, but shit, we might
just
be, bitch. You
know.
don't know.
Oh, well, definitely. Like, I think we're like ancient for sure. But like, you know, in our meat
absolutely.
suit years, we're not that old. Okay.
No, not yet.
Okay. We've got a lot to cover today. Let's do
Mhm.
our affirmations and then we'll start talking about all the things. This is going to go all over the place today. I have a feeling just because there's been so many things coming up. You ladies want to start
Absolutely.
with affirmations?
All right. Oh, girl. Okay. First of all, bitch, I'm not afraid to speak my truth. So
Oh, okay. That's it.
And that is one. That's a way to start. She's like, yep,
That's it.
that's it.
Mic drop.
Next.
Okay. I love it. Okay.
Next.
Tolly, what you got?
I fucking refuse to let anyone else dictate my path.
Oh, wow. Wow. You guys are
I
coming
wanted to
in like
make sure
that.
I nailed it right home.
we are coming
I
in
love
hot
it.
this week.
I
Let's
love
go.
it. Okay. Wait, you ready for mine? I'm coming in just as
Yep.
hot. Okay. Here we go.
Good.
I am a walking cosmic smoke show, personally trained by a team of celestial goddesses who host my nightly astral masterclasses.
What the fuck?
Damn.
I am calling that in, girl. Okay, so
Okay,
if you
queen.
watched our
All
if you watch our episode last
right.
week with Christy, who talked about how she had Aphrodite show up at the end of her
Yeah.
bed and astral playing with her, I was like, girl, that's gonna be my affirmation now. I am gonna be
Ain't this a
like,
bitch.
they are gonna be training me up.
Ain't this a bitch?
Hey,
My
that's
God.
my affirmation this week. I love it.
Hey, get it.
I
I
love
love
it.
some
It's
spice.
spicy. I love it too.
All right.
Okay.
You want to go on your week or what?
You go on your week and then I'll follow up on what's been going on with me. I got some stuff to share.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, all right. So we got to go back, 2 episodes ago where Kathy was like, hey,
Yes.
dudes in your energy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I was like, I don't talk to anybody. Fuck that. Whatever. Shut up.
What are you talking about, Kathy? You don't know nothing.
Right. She don't know. Okay. So as I said, before, I'm getting back in the New York vibe, whatever, there's work that needs to be done in my home. Okay. So I reach out to 2 gentlemen that I absolutely know that absolutely does this kind of work. One totally didn't even respond. And then the other one actually responded immediately and was like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. And that was a month ago. So guess not.
Guess not.
Then
Kind of like your eye doctor.
yes. Perfect. I love this here. Oh, and the Morgan, I looked that up too. So it ended up not being Morgan for the doctor. His name was Mogan, but here we are. But the Morgan is about a 3-headed goddess of, okay, I'm all that at this point.
Yeah.
Anywho, so then working one day, I get a knock at the door. It's a construction company. They're like, hey, we do what you're looking for us to do, whatever. I was like, cool. Let me get that quote. Well, apparently they thought I was also buying a car because what they quoted me for was beyond ridiculous. I swear to God, it was the universe going, are you gonna do it? You can do it. Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna? And I was like,
you're gonna invest
no.
like a car sized amount of money to do these field repairs? Yeah, no.
Right. No. So I was like, fuck that. So my backup plan was I was going to just go stand in front of the local Home Depot, in front of the contractor door, and be like, hi, you look like you could do some work. Would you like to do some work? And in my, I sent Wendy that reel. It's,
would that be considered hoeing at the Home Depot?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. But I'm so aggressive, it doesn't come off that way. So I sent her a reel, and it's totally of me. It's a duck running around, and it's a voiceover of an Italian guy. He's like, yay, I'm making coffee. Anybody want some coffee? That's how I come off. So could you imagine me in front of the Home Depot? Like, I got coffee. I'm just trying to make friends. You want to come over here? So that was my backup plan. And as that is going through my head, I get a message on a social media account from a guy. And I was like, generally, I'd be like, my one of 2 responses is no response or like some smart ass shit. Like,
Yes.
bad. But I was trying to people. So I was like, okay, I'll be nice. And I responded pretty nicely. And he was just kind of like, hey, what's up, whatever. And me being me, I literally like lambasted this man and was like, look, I've been through some fucking shit. And if you're coming in for some shit, I swear to God, I will burn you to the ground. And so dude was
So
like,
friendly.
I was so friendly. It was
Yeah.
okay. And
Yeah.
Wendy's like, you probably need to not be so aggressive. And I'm like, you know what? This is me. And his response was, I'm sorry you had to go through all of that. I was like, well, okay, whatever. So then he ends up telling me like, okay, I reached out to you because I actually heard somebody else talking about you. And I wanted to hear it for myself. Like I just wanted to hear, because I just don't believe shit
What's up
people
with you?
say or whatever. Right. And I was like, oh, so, all right, cool. Takesy backsies on the little, And he's like, oh, we should hang out sometime. I was like, no, hard no. Basically, I'm sick that day, whatever.
Thank God.
Right. So then he's like,
My
oh, so
God.
what do you do for work? And I was like, okay. So I told him about my regular job. And then I told him about this. And he was just like, oh, that's amazing. He's like, I didn't know. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, okay, cool. You don't know I throw lights and shit? Cool. I won't mention that then. So I was like, well, what do you do? And he's like, oh, construction. Exactly what I'm looking for.
Stop.
So I was like, hey, so
Hey, all that stuff that I just threw at you, like I'm going to take that back. How about we have some
Right.
coffee?
I said, right. I'm making coffee. You want some
You want
coffee?
some coffee?
You want some coffee? I'm making it.
My
So
God.
I was like, oh, hey, so I got this quote and he was like, my God, that's stupid ridiculous. No, absolutely not. I would charge, this, that, what. I was like, oh my God, what? And he's like, yeah. So I've got like these 47 projects going on right now. But I was like, okay, now I kind of feel bad. And he's like, no, I'll make time. I'll make time. And I'm
I
like,
bet he will.
son of a bitch. Son of a
Yeah.
bitch. So, okay. We're calling him Mr. Darcy. So he hasn't come to do he's got to do measurements and all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
actually have to let somebody in my house, which is going to be, shit,
Yeah.
that part. So it's not like I can
Yeah.
just disappear. You're going to know where I live.
Yep.
So I'm going to, that's my story.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's incredible. And also you got some new ink over the weekend, looks like, on
I
your
did.
hand. That's
It's just
amazing.
the outline. It's got
Okay.
this is my grandkids. So this is my grandson's flower, the cosmos, and then the poppy. It's got to be all shaded in, and I'm getting their names added down, and then it's probably going to
Beautiful.
develop into. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's very beautiful. It'll be beautiful
It's
when it's done.
meaningful. It's meaningful.
Yeah.
And again, that's my right hand. That's my grandkids, and it's the last thing anybody will see with my trigger finger should anybody ever hurt them. So
Okay. All right. Well, we
I'm
took
too
a
old to
beautiful
fight.
moment and then we just went gangster on it. So there it is. You want some coffee?
Hey, you want some coffee? I'm making coffee.
God.
So what's your deal?
Okay. I had a weird psychic happening the other night while I was mowing the lawn. Okay.
Oh God.
I think we've mentioned this before. So on my property, there actually is a full cemetery out in the very back of the property. Okay. It's a public cemetery, so people could actually come and visit the cemetery, but they don't. But it became part of the property when I purchased it. So I have to take care of it. So I have to, mow it and do all the things. Okay. So I've been doing this for 3 years. All right. So I always mow the cemetery, I trim around the gravestones. The joke is always with people who know about this, like friends and family that know about
Jones
the cemetery. It's the Jones Cemetery, right? So everybody there is Jones. And back in the day, like from a census perspective, they didn't have an exact head count about how many bodies are in the cemetery. So it's a range of like between 36 and 40. So the joke is always like, well, if you need somebody to disappear, I got like 4 slots.
Wow.
Out here, we just put up a stone that says
Thanks for
Jones.
like, killing that. I got to find a new ground.
Yeah. So I think I've mentioned this before, is that I am not somebody who is a medium. I don't channel people that pass beyond the grave, okay? Or I never have. Like that's just not a
Yeah.
thing. Like I always any messages I get are channeled from God or spirit guides, archangels. Like that those are my crew, okay? Like those are it's like
Yep.
God and the spirit teams, all right? Those are usually the things that I will channel. At least until what happened to me the other day. So I'm mowing
Oh
the
God.
cemetery and I make an initial pass through and I'm like, something smells like dead out here.
Great.
But it was faint. It was like a faint dead smell. So I
Mhm.
was like, okay, whatever. So I keep, I got my music on. I'm like mowing it. So I come back and I'm like doing a second pass. Now, the second pass, I was like, yo, something is dead out here. Like, now I shut the mower off and I'm looking for like a carcass because I'm like, there's gotta be something around here. Like like the smell was
Right.
stronger. I
Yeah.
don't see anything around. I don't see anything. Like there's nothing. There's nothing in the ground. There's nothing in the trees. There's nothing. There's nothing there. It's all clear. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I start the mower up again and I go out of the cemetery and I come back in for a third pass. On the third pass, I'm telling you, that smell was so vile and so like that death smell was so
Yum.
bad that I literally had to pull my shirt like over my face. Like I felt like I was on like
Oh,
CSI.
wow.
Like it
Like
was
you were
like
getting closer to it, or it was just getting stronger?
it was just getting stronger. I mean, it was to the point where it was
Perfect.
like I was gagging. Like it was that kind of
Good.
smell. And I
Yum.
was like, what in the hell? Like, what is this? And so I turn the mower to leave the cemetery and all of a sudden I feel this bubbling, like this bubbling sensation coming up from my gut, like up into my chest. And I was like, no, like, because I know what that meant. And so immediately I started like saying, I'm like, spirit, this is where I lay a boundary. I am not a channel for the dead. like I am not a channel for the dead. I am not interested in being a medium. I am not interested in bringing forward messages from passed over people, loved ones, whatever. Like I just went in. Like I was like, this is it. Like I'm laying this boundary. This is not me. Like we have not specifically talked about this maybe, but like this is it. Okay. And immediately the feeling went away and the smell was not there anymore. I finished mowing the cemetery. I didn't smell another thing. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yum.
Somebody was
Gotcha.
trying, some
Mhm.
Jones was trying to be like
Mhm.
coming through and I was like, no, no, I'm not your girl. Okay.
I got some old money for you.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Girl, that could
I
have been
mean,
some bags.
I could have been, but listen, that smell was so bad. Listen, I didn't get a good feeling about any of that. I don't think that
Little
was a good
Febreze. It'll be
Jones.
all right.
Right?
No,
Right.
One of
listen.
those
Listen,
Alpine,
okay, when you're
like,
out here,
Get the air fresheners.
when you're out here in a couple of
black
weeks, if you
Yep.
want to go up to the cemetery and
Hey, I'll go. Hey,
introduce yourself
me
as
and
a
the
medium
sure.
for the dead, go for it. But I am not
Hey,
that
something's
person.
already chilling in my stomach, so hey, might as well. Come on.
No, 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 no. That is a boundary I laid. I was like, no, I will entertain other things but not passed over people. I'm not that person. I'm not that person. I will gladly bring you a medium or somebody who is interested in doing that. It is not me. But so that was wild. Okay. But it was a
Yep.
boundary that I needed to set. That one was rough. It was like, what the hell? Okay. The other one's more emotional, and it goes along with our message today. So, and I've laid a boundary, and I have not talked about the divine counterpart at all. I really don't talk about her or this thing at all. I mean, really, once in a while I'll see something. I just keep it to myself. I just, journal it. But this was significant. I really feel, and again, I have no contact with her. I have not. There's nothing.
Mhm.
So it's not like I have any insight into whatever. I'm just going to tell you what I feel constantly now, and I have to actually kind of fight these things. So whether it's like mental blockages, emotional blockages, fighting herself, what I don't know, but it is like
Yeah.
so like I have to lay boundaries constantly with myself to say, that's not mine, and I care but I can't solve it. So if you know, you know about
Yeah.
divine counterparts, like that's what happens. It's like I can't hold that for you. But one of the things that happened for me, this was a vision. So spirit woke me up one morning and showed me something and said, I want you, I'm going to try to say this without getting emotional. I want you to see something and I want something to change for you in this because, again, and I think it's related to whatever she's going through. And this is part of me doing what I need to do because remember, I think we've said this before. It's like once you start that energetic connection, and if you're doing your stuff, it's going to affect that person is connected to you. So it's like they're
Yeah.
going to go through their own stuff too, or be faced with the mirror, or have to look at themselves, or have to choose, or have to go through things because that's the way it works. But, anyways, so what spirit shows me is this vision of me showing up every day for the past 330 some days, every single day, whether I was sad, whether I was angry, whether I was barely making it, whether I was doubtful, whether I wanted to run away, whether whatever. I would show up every day. They show me a vision of like a bouquet of red roses that are bigger than I could barely hold on to. Okay. And I'm like, what is it with these roses? And they're beautiful. I'm not talking about like this little thing. I'm talking about like armful, like huge bouquet of these beautiful stunning red long stem red roses. And they show me holding this bouquet every single day, regardless of how I feel or what's going on. And I'm on the sidelines and all of a sudden she's within, I don't know, an earshot. Okay. Like she's several feet away. And I'm standing there holding all of this, waiting for her to look, waiting for her to see. Like I'm holding this whole bouquet of these beautiful roses, like every day, every day. And I say, God, why am I holding all these roses? Like, why red roses? Like, what is it? And, and, they say to me, this represents unconditional love that you come and you hold for her every single day. Every day, you've been doing this for almost a year. You show up every day waiting for her to see that you hold all of this, that you hold this and it's real. And she never looks. She doesn't look. She doesn't see it. And so what they showed me this time was she shows up. She doesn't look. And I'm standing there and there's like kind of a little deflated moment, but then I go on, and then I show up the next day and do the same thing. And so, but this time God says, I want you to take the roses and I want you to go out this door. And like this door like magically appears. I want you to go out this door and I want you to close the door behind you. And so I do. I go out the door and I close the door behind me. And then all of a sudden, bam, like I'm in my home. I'm still carrying these huge bouquet of roses. And all of a sudden, this giant ass vase appears, right? And God's like, put the roses in that vase. And I was like, okay. And he was like, because now you're choosing you. And every day, instead of going and holding that unconditional love and waiting for her to see it, I want you to take the roses and I want you to put them in your vase on your table. And you give you that unconditional love. And it doesn't mean that you don't care about her because you do. But until she does that for herself, she can't see it. She can't see what you're holding and she can't believe that it's real and that it's true. And so in doing so, your love and your gift is not lost because you're going to give it to you. You're going to put it on your table and you're going to enjoy the view of this every single day, and until further notice. And so I thought,
As you
whoa.
should.
Yeah, but it was like this really profound thing. It was like you've been showing up like there is no question, like you are true. You have done what you said that you would do, which is, you would choose and you would hold space and you would do this every single day, no matter what. No matter what, and you've done it. But now you do that for you. You do that for you. And so that's kind of where this message came about the chosen ones, which is kind of a weird way to have that happen, but it was very emotional, obviously, for me. But, and again, I don't usually say anything, but I thought that it kind of led into like why I went here. Because when you become somebody who's spiritual, and actually before I was even spiritual and I was in the religious community, okay, the religious community is very elitist. I don't care
Yeah.
what religious group you belong to, that group
Yeah.
specifically thinks that they are God's chosen people. Like
Yep.
they are the ones, right? So it's like if you're Catholic, you're the chosen ones. If you're if you are evangelical, you think you're the chosen ones. If you're Pentecostal, if you're Mormon, if you're, Muslim,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like all of these religious groups feel that they're the chosen ones. And it's no different with spirituals. Because as soon as
Mhm.
you become spiritual, and people will be like, "Oh, the chosen ones. You're a chosen one, chosen one, chosen
Yep.
one." It's like, okay. So I want to take that phrase and I want to flip it a little bit because this is what I'm showing. It's like people talk a lot about being chosen, like chosen by friends, chosen by a partner, chosen by God, chosen for a mission, chosen for something bigger. But what if being chosen isn't about someone else picking you at all? What if it's about finally choosing yourself? And that's what happened with me this week. And this
Yep.
is what I was guided to do. It was like, you are choosing you. I actually once told my therapist, like, I remember having this conversation is like, I don't think I've ever truly felt chosen ever in my life. Not by my family, not by a partner, not by people. Like, I just never have felt chosen. And I remember she said to me, well, it's because growing up, you learned how to be needed instead of loved. And that's true because I became somebody who was the easy one, the understanding one, the one who
Yep.
carried everyone else's emotions. I learned not to ask for too much, not to take up too much space, not to make people uncomfortable with my needs because over time I stopped asking altogether. Like I just
Mhm.
stopped asking for anything. And without realizing it, I began believing that love was something that I had to earn. And so every relationship, every friendship, every connection that I've been in, I have been convinced or convinced myself, I guess, that I needed to earn someone's love by shrinking myself, by overgiving, by becoming whoever the other people needed me to be. And I learned to choose everyone else and abandon myself. And even in this little vision, it wasn't a mean correction or anything for my divine counterpart. It was actually the way that God's spirit came to me was very loving and was, this is real. You are real. Your love is real, but it belongs here right now. And this is a process of like really choosing yourself. So it's like, you don't have to show up here anymore. You put the flowers in your vase. And I was like, okay, okay, because they represent the unconditional love that you give yourself. I remember like I started to wonder why relationships always felt exhausting. Like I would get through like, a relationship that I'd been in for some time. And the reason they feel exhausting is like it's because you keep, or at least I did, I kept attracting people who couldn't meet me. And I kept
Mhm.
waiting for someone to finally choose me. It was like, hey, I'm out here doing all this stuff. And it's like, I'm waiting for you to choose me. And it's because we recreate the love we learned, hoping that this
Mhm.
time it'll end differently. Right. And so, because I learned that love needed to be earned, then I attracted or I recreated love with people that made that be so or fulfilled that. Right. So, but healing begins when you recognize that we were never waiting for someone else to choose us. We were waiting to choose ourselves and to honor our feelings and to trust our intuition and to stop negotiating our worth and to stop abandoning ourselves in order to belong. And so this is what really kind of hit me was like, the chosen ones aren't people selected by God while others are left behind. Chosen ones are the people who finally remember who they are. It's like God sends us all to the earth on a level playing field. We all come chosen, right? Like
Yep.
nobody is not chosen. It's
Yep.
just whether
Unless you
or
sign. I
not.
wonder if there's people who signed up like, I don't wanna wake up. I just wanna spend this whole life as a douche face. I don't know.
There are
Thing?
theories on that actually. We could go down that path. There are theories that people choose like to come as villains versus the
Yeah.
good because like your soul learns
Right.
different lessons when you come as like, which is hard to believe. Like you would
This
come
is what
as
I'm
like
saying. Right.
somebody who's terrible in life, but
Yep.
apparently that is so. I don't know, but I mean, we could explore that at some point. But chosen ones are the people who finally remember who they are, and the people who stop chasing validation and start living from their own truth. And
Mhm.
even in this little scenario that I opened with, like I really have taken a lot of steps to not need to be chosen, and to not need people's validation. Like I don't need somebody to tell me like, oh, Wendy, you're so amazing, oh wow, you know, you're a great partner, you're an amazing friend or what, like I don't need that. Like I really don't. But this was a holding space kind of a thing that I think it wasn't
Mhm.
wrong necessarily, it was just misplaced for right now because I think of whatever is going on the other side. It's like God, you know, intervening and saying, "No, no, I want you to go over here because for whatever reason, there's a higher knowledge than I understand." So it's like, "That's fine."
But that I was also like, again, that's why everybody has to learn their own lessons, but you also had me and I was telling you the same damn thing. I was literally telling like you have to detach, you have to love yourself, you have to let that go.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I finally listened to myself and did that,
Yeah.
look at the doors that just opened. They just fucking fly open for me now.
Yep.
Like and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah,
It's
and
good
so
that you
I think it's not so for me it's not necessarily all about just like yes, there's a choosing yourself element, right? And giving
Mhm.
yourself the unconditional love that you deserve, right? So that is part of it. However, there is another deeper piece for me that is very like empress, right? It's very maternal. It's very like you show the people that you love that unconditional love is just something that's there, it's not earned, right? And so it's like, so you show up with that as a gift. And essentially, you know, God is saying, like, yes, it's a beautiful quality and it's real and it's true in you, but I want you to put it over here in the vase for right now because that
Mhm.
person they can't see it, they can't feel it, they can't accept it. This is watching out for me and taking care of me. And it's like, I don't want you to lose this beautiful gift. And so I want you to take it over here and to keep it safe. So for me, it's more like that. It's not that I didn't know that logically, but it was like I needed to be shown in a different way, which we all do. We all have different ways of knowing this and learning this. And that's essentially what I'm saying is like the people that start living from whatever your own truth is, people will stop asking like, "Why doesn't anybody choose me?" So in like that moment, I could have been like, "But why doesn't she choose me?" And that wasn't what I felt. It was like it wasn't that's not why I was there. I was there because I think intuitively you know like that person needs this. Like they really do need this, but they can't have it because they have to give it to themselves first. You don't ask like, "Why isn't anybody choosing me?" And you start saying like, I don't care, like, I choose me. So, like, it doesn't matter that anybody doesn't choose me, like, I choose me. And it's not from an ego place, it's from self-respect, self-love, and remembering that your soul was never waiting for permission to exist, you know? And the thing is, like, you're not hard to love. You're just simply taught to look for your worth, some of us anyways, out everywhere except for within yourself.
Right.
Especially
Yeah.
if you're like an evangelical like I am, they're really heavy on this because they don't believe that anything good is inside of you. They believe that you got to die to yourself and the only thing that's redeeming about you is when you accept Christ into your life and like then you become halfway decent as long as you can keep that up and not do any of the other things, which is so oh my gosh, like it's such a
Mhm.
departure of what Jesus actually taught was like,
Right.
no, you come fully loaded. The kingdom is within you. You don't have to go beg for crumbs and search for all this stuff. He didn't come here to teach you to die to yourself. He came here to
Right.
show you what was already inside of you.
Who you actually are. You're actually just supposed to
Exactly.
be unlocking everything that you came
Exactly.
with.
Exactly. You know, because the love and the validation that you've been searching for was never outside of you. It is
Nope.
you. It is you. And so
Mhm.
that little scenario where I had already known it and, you know, there were other things that I had to let go and feel it led me to this chosen one's place. You already are chosen. That's the great deception in the world. Oh, only certain segments get to be in God's presence because they do
No.
X, Y, and Z. They believe X, Y, and Z. They live in this kind of culture and this kind of no. No,
No.
everybody, you are the source. You come from the source. There is no separateness. There is no separation. You are connected and you are always worthy. And so as soon as you start remembering this and you start giving that to yourself, that's the place where you can start to heal and not be afraid and not be looking for something to fix you. You don't need to be fixed. And if you've ever been somebody who was told like you're too much, like, oh my God, you're too much in this world, you're too feeling, you're too loud, you're too creative, you're too weird, you're too yeah, right. Exactly. All of us, right? That's the
You want some
reason that
coffee?
you want some coffee. Exactly. If you're told that, no, 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 you're not too much. You were never meant to be contained. You were meant to be trained in how to move in who you are and in your gifts. And so the more that you try to bottle everything up and try to be what everybody else wants and, and toe the line and do it, well, I've had all life of that. No wonder my soul is like, F this. We're going to abandon everything. We're just going to be out here being a soul. I get it. I get it because I've been one of those people that people are like, yeah, like you're just too feeling, like get a backbone or like, why do you care so much or whatever? It's like, because I was meant to, I was made to, but in a different way. I just needed to be trained the right way and to be reminded, like, no, this is how you move. So you're not going to hurt yourself. And that's it. So for everyone who needed to hear that message about choosing yourself and knowing that you don't have to earn anything. Like you just need
Right.
to face, I think most of us just get so much wounding and so much conditioning kind of layered on us that, when we get to a rock bottom place or we get to the end of ourselves kind of place, however that comes, it's like you just need to grieve those things and just be like, yeah, I'm tired of carrying all of this. Like I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Like, I'm exhausted from trying to be everything for everybody. It is like,
Right.
and as soon as you start doing that, then your real self starts coming out because whoever that is going to start to be like, yeah, and guess what? Like you said, G, like then the floodgates open and the people that are supposed to be there for you are going to start coming in. They're going to start flowing into your life like and be like,
Even
yeah, girl, you're
right.
never too
And you
much.
don't have to change a damn thing. Like
Nope.
again, I mean, even though we talk about this and, we're like, just be yourselves or whatever, even, with Wendy, she's like, gee, you are aggressive. You're hella aggressive. Like just tone it
Mhm.
down so you don't scare everybody away. And I was like, fuck that. I don't give a shit. And I just did what I did. And I was like, if you don't fucking whatever, and
Yep.
here we are. Here we
Yep.
are. Everybody's
Yep.
like everybody that comes around. I actually went to a luncheon with one of my friends and there was 20 people there and she actually just like very quietly said to me like you good because I was very like the energy in the room was not it for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was trying to just be like, okay, I am here. I am, I'm present. I'm grounded. I was trying to be grounded. So, the whole restaurant didn't shut down that part. But I noticed like my leg started and I was like, and so she just kind of put her hand on my leg and she's like, are you good? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yep, I'm good. I'm good. But
Yep.
there was another girl there that I completely resonated with. And like, I ended up like going over and hugging her like we were best friends. And that one was like, but out of the 20 people, I connected with one, but that one was worth it. So, and
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
I
going to
found,
continue to happen.
yeah,
That's going to continue to happen because you'll realize that you are a walking whatever you are. Like if you're an activator, if you're walking karma, if you are
I'm welcome, karma.
somebody, yeah, the more that you are aligned and you're just open, it'll just start
I'm
kind
open
of
to
flowing through
receiving,
you.
but I'm not open to toning me down. Like this is
No,
me.
that's fine.
And
That's
I've
fine.
toned me down so much where that's what I was explaining to Mr. Darcy. Like,
Yep.
hi, I tone
I
myself
love that he's
down.
Mr. Darcy.
Yeah, I love that. I tone myself down so much that my sympathy for my last partner overran my boundaries
Mm,
so much
yeah.
that I lost myself so much because I
Yeah.
felt too much empathy or whatever. And that's not me. Yes, I'm empathetic. Yes, I am. I'm not a heartless bitch. I swear to God. But
Right.
to get over my brick wall that has barbed wire fence and you're skydiving in because
Yeah.
bitch, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took all of that down because I had sympathy for
Yeah.
that person. I'm not doing that again. No,
Yeah.
you want in, bitch? Crawl up the wall, bleed through the damn barbed
Wire.
wire. You got one leg coming over the fence. Then I guess
Yeah.
you were, or buy a plane and skydive over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
but that's just who I am. So
Yeah. No, I get it. So mine is very different. I don't have to
Mhm.
build a castle and a moat and barbed wire and all that stuff. People just need to show up at my door and knock. And
Yep.
I trust that I have a knowing of who
Yeah.
is there for me and who is not. And I'm strong in the fact that when they show up and knock, that I have such and it's developing, like I have
Mhm.
such a high level of discernment that I'll be like, yeah, I'm sorry, but this is just
This
not
isn't
for
it.
me.
Yeah.
This
Right.
isn't it for
Yep.
me. And other things, like as soon as you come into my energy field, it's like, I can feel you. It's like, okay.
Yep.
And listen, you don't have to be healed or fully healed or
Mm,
perfect or any of that. None of
nope.
that. That's not what I mean. Listen, I will know, like, I just know that when somebody shows up, like, I know why they're there. Like, is like spirit shows me, like, this person's here because I've brought them, or I'm showing you something, or they have something for you, or you
Yep.
have something for them, or whatever. I think I told Juji, we have this little signal now. Oh, I don't know where this is going to go, but I used to have this will date me a little bit. Used to have this like little purple boom box when I was young, like when I was like, I
Yep.
don't know, in junior high or something, whatever. Remember they used to make them in like different colors and stuff. I had this like lavender boom box, right?
Mhm.
And in order to get a radio station, like you had to pull up the antenna, right? So you have to pull up this antenna. Well, now Spirit has this thing with me where like that's the signal that they give me when they want to channel a message to somebody that
Pulling up
I'm
the antenna.
with or, that's within me is like all of a sudden I'll get a vision of this little purple boombox and them pulling like and the antenna
The
going up and
antenna.
I'm like, oh, perfect. Like then I know to listen or to feel like, all right, something's coming through, and then and then, one of the things that I'm learning kind of like how Christy talked about this on the last episode is like I'm learning to have this boundary with spirit and understand like listen, I only want to channel for people who you want me to channel to that are willing to receive it and also only messages for their higher good. Like, I'm not interested in talking about dark stuff, death, whatever. Maybe some people are. That is not what I want to do. Like, I don't want to carry that burden. I don't want to see it. I don't want to, like, I only want messages for their higher good. And actually, when you do that, like, they honor it. Like, spirit guides, God, archangels, whatever, they will honor those boundaries with you. And so, like, you just have to, keep setting them. But, anyways, okay, I said that. So I shared a couple of weeks ago. I shared the story about the clay pot. I found another. Actually, G found this story, and so she sent it to me, and I was like, okay. After I listened to it and wiped tears, I was like, okay, this one hits. So I have another little story to share, and like I said, I will share these from time to time. This one is called "The Stone in the Road." Okay. A curious king ordered a heavy boulder to be placed right in the middle of the town road. Then he hid nearby to see how the people would handle the unexpected obstacle. Over the next few days, many wealthy merchants and townspeople passed by. And instead of moving the rock, they just simply walked around it and complained about how inconvenient it was. They blamed the king for the state of the roads, but not a single person attempted to move the boulder away. Finally, a poor farmer came along carrying a heavy load of vegetables on his back. And instead
Farmer
of
Andy.
Farmer
Sorry.
Andy, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and so instead of complaining, he set his vegetables down and he pushed against the rock with all of his might. And after struggling for a long time, he finally managed to roll it to the side of the road. And then underneath it, he found a small bag full of gold coins and a note from the king. And the note said, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." And so here's what strikes me most about this story is that the farmer had no idea that there was gold underneath the stone. He didn't move it because he expected a reward. He moved it because it was the right thing to do. And so many of us approach life very differently. When great obstacles appear in our lives, we start asking ourselves, why is this happening to me? Why is this so hard? Why the delay? Why the heartbreak? Why is my life unfair? We want to know the outcome before we even begin to face the obstacle. We want guarantees before we take the leap. And we want proof before we trust. in the process of why this thing may have appeared in our life. But
Yeah.
sometimes the thing that's blocking our path is not only there to stop us, it's there to change us and to strengthen something, to reveal something, or to ask something of us that comfort never could. And so healing doesn't come with a promise, and faith doesn't come with certainty. And the biggest transformations often begin without any evidence that they're actually leading somewhere worthwhile. And that's the
Right.
thing that hits me in my feels, because that's been the last year of my life. That's probably been the last 3 years of your life. Gee, it's like,
Almost 4.
there you go. And so you don't even know. But that's what trust looks like. Sometimes the lesson isn't about the obstacle at all. It's about becoming the kind of person who keeps showing up, who keeps doing the work, who keeps moving forward, even when there's no visible reward. And unexpectedly, sometimes life hides something valuable beneath the obstacles that we wished were never there at all. And
Big
that's where I'm
facts.
going to leave it.
Mm. Are we
Yeah,
ready to trigger some shit?
I think we are.
Hmm.
It's all
So
you, G.
my trigger this bitch this week is weak environments. So
Perfect.
right, kind of just goes. I'll just get into it.
Okay.
Anyways, you ever just feel like you were meant for more, but somehow over time you started feeling smaller? A lot of the
Yep.
time, that's not you, that's your environment.
Mhm.
So if you grow up surrounded by sheep, eventually you learn to eat grass and run from fear. After
Yep.
a while, you forget that you were a lion to begin with.
Mhm.
You start believing you're weak just because everybody around you moves like they're weak. So you
Mhm.
know, it's your environment. You adapt to that. And that's why you need at least one person in your life who challenges you. Somebody
Yeah.
who wakes something up inside of you, somebody who reminds you what you're capable of when you've been asleep for so long, or a
Yep.
sheep, a sleeping sheep
Yes.
at this point. And the powerful thing is, those people don't change you. They
No.
remind you who you've always been. Again, going with Wendy's stories, sometimes the biggest thing holding you back isn't your talent, isn't your ambition, isn't your potential. It's the
No.
environment that taught you who you were supposed to be,
Yep.
whether it be a religion, whether it be your family, whether whatever, the people you surround yourself with. A lot of people spend their whole lives confusing conditioning with identity, confusing
Mm.
survival with limitation. If you
Yep.
stay around fear long enough, courage starts feeling unnatural. You
That
start
is
feeling
definitely true.
small, you start thinking small, you know, your own power starts feeling uncomfortable, even embarrassing. Like, "Oh my god, anybody want some coffee?" You know,
Yeah, that's not gonna get old.
it's not. It's going to be me forever.
I know.
Your truth doesn't disappear just because nobody around you reflected it back to you.
That's right.
Sometimes growth it isn't becoming someone new. Sometimes it's finally hearing your own roar underneath all of, you know, you the noise where you were taught to whisper. So pay
Yeah.
attention to the people around you. Surround yourself with people who push you higher, people
Yeah.
with vision, people with good energy,
Yes.
people who want to see you win without competing with you. And
Yep.
that's, you know, again, that's in my little journey right now. This is me peopling. And
Yeah.
this is what I'm seeking out in my aggressive way. These people shouldn't cause they don't bring drama. They don't bring jealousy. They don't bring bitterness, or you shut the fucking door on them. But right. Because those people are at the bottom that bring all
Yeah.
of that jealousy and everything like that. People at
Yeah.
the bottom compete, they shame, they judge, they try to silence you. But people at the top, they collaborate. So you need to
Yeah.
know the difference.
Yeah.
If the environment you're sitting in doesn't roar with you, it isn't for you.
That's right.
Trigger that bitch.
I love that. So I'm going to say a couple of things about this. I want to recognize that there are people that probably feel this, but they feel trapped in
Mm-hmm.
environments that they might not be able to get out of, or they feel like they can't get out of, right? So whether that's a family system, a marriage, a partnership, a like a work collaboration, maybe there are
Hmm.
contracts that you have, like it could be a million different things, right?
Yep.
when you realize that this is draining you, like whatever those things are, or that this is holding you back, or you are having to move in a way that does not feel authentic to you, that like you're saying, G, like, man, I am meant to be a lion, and man, I am at the most, I'm being like, a sheep with a mohawk. Like, that's about all I got right out here. Okay.
Yep.
What the hell? Like, that's never gonna get it
Mhm.
done. Like, nobody's gonna believe I'm a lion when I'm a sheep that I just have a mohawk that looks like a mane. Like, no, no,
Right.
that's just fucked.
Mhm.
Okay. So I want to say this, like, don't expect that your environments are gonna just turn over overnight. If they do, awesome. Like, if you can just I mean, some people can just burn it down and go. Like, especially if you are in a place that's not safe. Right. If you're not in a safe place, or you do have the luxury of doing that, God bless. That is amazing. But for a lot of us, it doesn't happen that quickly. So what you do instead is you start to really kind of manifest and pray for those that can align with you, and you do it, one by one. And when you do get the opportunities, because they will bring them. They will bring them. They may not look exactly like you may have thought or whatever. When they bring these opportunities, don't be afraid, because that's the thing that's going to happen is like, because it's probably going to be so different, whatever it is, whether it's,
Yep.
a new work thing that you're maybe not that confident that I got all these
Yep.
skills, but like maybe not this. It's like, no, you'll know, like, listen to your intuition. You'll know, like, go for it, because I promise you it's not going to fall flat. Maybe it's a relationship that is like so out of the norm for like what you would choose, or the type of person that you might go for. Anything that you think like, it's like, well, they can't understand me or my environment, or it's like, no, listen, again, if you listen intuitively and it's aligning and it feels right, take a chance of that, because that's the thing that's going to happen is like the fear is what holds people back, because it's
Yep.
different. And, you know, this is the other thing that I wanted to say too, is that the divine is never going to bring things into your path that are deceptive, they're not bringing things to you just to be like, hey, good luck with this. Let's see, let's see what she does with this, bomb
Yep.
that we're bringing in. No, if it's sent if it's sent by the divine, it's a gift. It just may not look like what you like you're saying, like you just may not recognize it right off the bat. They bring
Yep.
you gifts. I'm telling you, in people, in situations, in work things, in whatever it is that's important to you, like they bring you gifts. And your job is to be able to recognize it. And so those are the things I want to say, because don't feel bad if you feel like, oh, I can't just up and like move my whole environment, but it will happen.
Yep.
It will happen the more that you choose the things that are being brought into your life. You watch how that just starts to change. It's amazing.
Where
So
I knew how to swim, so I could throw the match and I burned the whole everything down.
yeah, and some
But
people can.
right. And so that was part of my like, okay, great, that's amazing. But then I don't know how to rebuild letting people back in. So now
Yeah,
I have the tail end of the lesson where
yeah,
I might it might have been nicer to have it like, the slow release or whatever, or learning a
yeah,
new or peopling before. So
yep,
now I'm like, shit. So either way, I mean, you're
yep.
either gonna you're either gonna get the lesson in the beginning or,
You're gonna learn it through the process.
right. So,
Yeah, and so mine
yeah.
is very much a process, I will tell you that.
Yep.
Like, mine isn't like, light the match, light everything on fire, and see you later. Mine is a process, but that's just the way that I'm built. Like, I'm built
Yep.
different than you. Like, I'm not a, like, blaze it up and see you later, good luck. Listen, I do believe that there will be maybe instances in my life coming, in the next several years that I might be like, hey, whatever, like burn that thing
Yep.
down and out I go. But I'm not. Like I'm a relational person. Like I'm a builder. Just my role is different. My role is different,
Yep.
and so, but it doesn't mean that it's not less, any less draining. It's like
Right.
I
Oh
have to
yeah. I was just
watch.
again, we're just
Yeah,
we're just talking about different paths. That's it.
yeah,
Like
that's it. And
it's
there's
it's gonna
no
be
right
all
or
the same
wrong.
outcome.
Yep,
Right. There
yep,
isn't, but
yeah.
it's just either way, it's not one is more difficult than the other. It's just
Right.
the placement of what's
Those
happening,
things. Yep.
It's all
Yeah.
happening.
And the other thing is too is like the one last thing that I want to say about fear. If anybody who's with us is, came up in an environment of fear, anxiety, like how do I get out of this? Like being in a mental prison over things, really overthinking things, driving yourself insane about like, well, what if I do this or what happens or the last time I did something
Yeah.
like this that blew up or if I choose this thing then everybody's gonna hate me and it's like, you know what? Listen, I'm
Mhm.
telling you right now that if you get through that fear and you know intuitively that there is something that is a gift to you and that is obvious, like you
Yep.
can't deny it. Whatever it is, like this job just dropped in my lap.
Yep.
Or no matter what I try to do, like this person just landed in my life and I didn't know what to do with it or whatever, but it's like or like you're saying with Mr. Darcy, like you're like, I'm telling him like I'm this, that,
Right.
and the other, and I'm doing all this
I
stuff.
try to burn it down, right. I try to burn it down, and then he continued to, still, I don't know, wish for
Yeah.
death, and
Yeah.
still try to talk to me, and then it was like and then spirit goes, "Andy does what you need to have done.
I'm
So,
telling you.
now take it back, bitch." And I'm
I'm
like,
telling you, it'll be
"Mm."
stuff like that. It'll be stuff
Yeah.
like that. And it's like if you're
So it's
tapping into your
undeniable, it's
right, it is
undeniable where
undeniable. Exactly. It's either you
yeah,
are going to have feelings about it or there's going to be some kind of weird 3D alignment, like he does what you need to have happen or what.
exactly.
There's
Right.
just an undeniable, like, and you can't stop it. It just is there. And it's like, that's your sign. That's your
Yeah.
sign. And so all you have to do is be grateful and be like, okay, God,
Mhm.
I'm just going to walk toward this thing and
Right.
I'm just going to trust that you brought it in as a gift and you're showing me something. And like, I'm just going to take it one step at a time. And it's okay. Because
Mhm.
if you're somebody who's afraid and things have blown up, listen, whatever it is that whatever gifts that God gives, he don't give no shitty gifts, okay? Like they don't give no shitty gifts. They are the ones like these are not the thing like I don't care how close it is to something that you may have chose for yourself in the past that totally bombed. Here's the difference. You chose that. This whatever it is that's being brought in for you, this is being brought in for you. It's like custom made. Are you kidding me? Like take that. Like you don't know what you don't even have to know what the
Take it.
end you don't even know what have to know what the end goal
Mhm.
is. You just need to be accepting that it showed up at your door. You're like, wow, this is custom made. I can't deny how I feel about this. I'm going to open it. I'm going to open the opportunity and I'm just going to see where this goes. Like what happens. And so that's
Mhm.
how spirit wants you to do is like just be open. Just be open, go with the flow, don't force things. Just be like chill. Like just be chill about it, but it starts with being open. So,
Yep.
anyway,
Talking about open the book, tally time. Mm, mm, mm.
open the book. See
Open
how
the
you
book,
always
tally time.
we have such smooth segues, don't we?
Oh, yes. What are we opening to today, girl?
Mm.
These tulips.
Oh,
Is this by our girl Kinsey Mazing? Or have we brought Kinsey Mazing
It
back?
is.
Then it's going to be
She's
amazing.
back. Full throttle.
I love Kinsey
oh,
Mazing.
This is Tiffany. These are her tulips.
Stop. No. Why are we doing this?
Some days they are bright and bold.
oh, God.
Other days they look shriveled and old.
Stop. Oh my God.
Some days they're pretty and pink. Other days they just plain stink.
Wow.
Some days
Okay.
they can get awfully dry. That is until they are watered by the right guy.
Okay.
Some days Tiffany likes to show her tulips off. When people walk by, they can't help but scoff.
They don't
They're
enjoy her
scoffing at
tulips,
her.
apparently.
Mhm.
Some days they turn a deep blood red, but
Oh.
don't worry, they're not dead.
Oh.
Some days they need a little trim. Tiffany keeps her tulips nice and prim.
Good for you,
Oh,
Tiffany.
God, Tiffany.
Some days her tulips open wide
Oh.
and wait for a honeybee to
Wow.
come inside.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Some days her
Oh.
tulips drip with nectar. That other off That often happens after a visit with Hector.
Oh, Hector. Hey, Hector. Oh, God.
Some days her tulips bask in the sun, taking on all that D for fun.
Vitamin D.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
baby.
Some days her
Okay.
tulips can get rather wet. That's when they're happiest, you can bet.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. They
Some
like
days her
to.
tulips can put on quite a show. Spectators come and watch them grow. Wow, they're plump. That's what
God.
the person in the audience
God.
said. Yes, Tiffany's tulips are truly grand, the finest blooms in all the land.
Oh my God.
To everyone with tulips, they're all beautiful and unique in their own way. Thanks, Kinsey.
Oh my
Kinsey, we
God.
love having you back.
Kinsey. Fuck yes.
My God.
Tiffany,
She never
It's not the
disappoints, does she?
weird, yeah, it's not the weird up and down and
Oh,
over and smelly ass with a pole and a ditch and whatever else.
all the good things.
explosions and whatever else that was.
Well,
Nah.
right,
Kinsey Mazing just gets to the point, and she's very
right.
colorful about it. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. Maybe we can
She
find
is.
her and bring her on someday. Wouldn't that be amazing? If like Kinsey Mazing came and like read to
Read
us.
her own book. Right. I
Hey,
would love
if
it.
anybody knows Kinsey Mazing, hook us up
Hell yeah.
because we love her. Let's wrap up this episode. So we came in with some fiery, spicy affirmations that were kind of all over the
Yeah.
place, but I loved them. They were great. And then G shared the story about Mr. Darcy
Mm-hmm.
entering, where she was like, "Yeah, Kathy, what do you know about some dude in my energy?" Bam. There it's
There
landed.
he is.
Okay.
And you know what? It was 3 days before that episode even launched where I was talking about
It's crazy.
Kathy saying there was a dude in my energy. And
Yeah.
like literally 3 days before, there he is. I was like, oh, and he's
It's
like, I would have reached
amazing.
out before, but I thought you were in a relationship. I was like, oh, thank God. So you've
Okay.
been hanging out for a minute.
Okay. So he was. See? Telling you,
We don't want to be
Kathy is
rude, he said.
something. Kathy is something. She's going to
Yeah.
be coming on with us in a couple of weeks. You're going to see. Like,
Yep.
she's awesome. Okay. And then I shared a story about death and laying a boundary that I'm not channeling from people beyond the grave. So, spirit,
That's pretty amazing.
don't give me that. And then I
Mhm.
shared about how I have been showing up with this unconditional bouquet of roses for almost the last year for divine counterpart that I need to give to myself, which led to the chosen ones lesson that we shared today about choosing yourself and giving that love and attention to yourself like it needed to be. God doesn't just choose a select group of people. We are all in the running, so to speak,
Yeah.
okay? Because you are
Yep.
all part of the source. The chosen ones are the ones that actually choose themselves and understand that process. And then I shared the story about the stone in the road and the farmer that came along and moved it and then ended up finding something very valuable underneath the obstacle that probably nobody wished was even there in the first place. But that's a lot of what happens in our lives is like sometimes we find the most valuable things and the things that challenge us the most. And then G shared a trigger this bitch about weak environments where maybe you're a lion amongst sheep and maybe as a sheep you were like I said, trying to do a mohawk mane thing, but that ain't nobody's buying that. They no, or maybe you're a lion that you shave down all of your fur so you look like kind of a sheep. Like what? Not no. Like it's a mismatch. So take the cues from the universe when they start bringing things into you, like, and it starts to shift your environments however that is, whatever, be open. Don't be afraid to take those things that they bring because I promise you they are better than you've probably ever imagined. And they're probably answers to the things you've been asking for all of your life, but they will require you to take a step. They don't need you to take a leap off the cliff. They just need you to take a step in the right direction and they'll honor that. And then Tali brought back Kinsey Mazing, who we have
Sure is.
desperately missed, and read us a story about Tiffany's tulips coming in all different like plumpnesses
Varieties.
and colors and varieties, all different hydrations, that sort of thing. So
Pretty much.
all the things that maybe you can relate to. Maybe you're a fan of tulips. I certainly am. I really do love
Oh,
tulips.
good.
So
Good.
I appreciated the story, Tully. And
Mhm.
yeah, and the beauty of that.
Good
Okay.
job.
So I think that's where we're going to leave it. And we'll catch
Thank
you on the
God.
next one.
See ya.
See ya.